Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, seekers of purpose and fulfillment, welcome to Passion on Purpose, the podcast that sets your soul on fire and ignites the spark within you. I'm your host, Steph Hilfer, and I'm beyond thrilled you're here. Passion on Purpose features leaders, experts, and sometimes me on center stage. We put the spotlight on visionaries, entrepreneurs, leaders, experts, and everyday heroes to share their journey of self-discovery, enthusiasm, and unwavering determination. We'll explore how they use their passion and purpose to fuel their brand. Alongside our leaders, we'll provide practical tips, actionable advice, and wisdom from our experts across various fields. So if you're ready to unleash your inner fire, shake off the doubts and insecurities, and pursue a life of purpose with unbridled enthusiasm, then let's dive in. All right, guys, we are back with another episode of the Passion on Purpose podcast, and I'm so excited for our leader on center stage today, who is Jonny Coopy. Jonny, thank you for being here.
You are welcome, Steph. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We were talking before we hit record that I'm completely enamored. If you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening, please go jump over to YouTube because Jonny is embodying the branding geek in me to a T. He's got orange everywhere. Eyeglass case, mug, earbuds, sweatshirt, wall, lava lamp. Is that a lava lamp I see?
Guilty as charged.
Yes, I love it. So anyway, you were just speaking to my branding geek heart, and I love it. So thank you for being here. I'm excited because your business is Jonny Hates Marketing. And so we're going to dive into that in a minute. But we are going to do as we always do here. And we're going to start with our hard-hitting question. Okay?
All righty.
Okay. What is your why, Jonny?
My why is to improve the wealth and thereby health of the global community of online coaches. There are too many skilled and passionate people who are not really earning so much money from what they're doing. So I'm turning that around and putting that right, one coach at a time.
How did you come to this self-awareness that it's fulfilling to you to help others who maybe aren't fulfilling or living their fullest potential? When did that start to come clear to you that was a purposeful piece of you?
Yeah, interesting question. Well, I've had a roller coaster life, really. I had quite a big business at the turn of the century, as we call it now. It's such a long time ago. But I sold a financial services business in 2003.
You sold it, you said?
Yeah, I sold it, and we built it up from a startup, and by 2003, when we sold it, we had 8 offices around the UK with 200 staff, and we did £10.2 million. So that's about $15 million, I guess, something like that. And we sold it to a public company who completely destroyed it with their incompetence. Oh. And they didn't pay us what they were supposed to be paying us. And by 2007, I was on a kind of downhill slope. And I actually went bust. I pulled the plug and went personally bankrupt in 2007. Battled my way back to some semblance of a business. By 2012, I had a business consultancy where I was helping a rag bag of business clients from all different sectors. I had no real brand. I certainly had no particular niche that I'd selected because I'd kind of forgotten about all that stuff in my in my eagerness to start earning some money again. And that got me till about 2015, 2016, when I was totally burned out again, and just wanting to pull the plug on that. So I started firing clients, and my wife was going, what on earth are you doing? We're going to go broke again at this rate. So I just took the lead from a whole bunch of really smart online marketers, people who are making an awful lot of money online and clearly enjoying a lot of success and impact. People like Frank Kern, for example, and started buying programs. And I spent about 30 grand in 2016 on training programs, mentorships, coaching, that kind of thing. And it all started to come into focus that actually what I should be doing is serving people who are kind of just like me, who are, wanting to help other people. So coaches, in other words, both in the business sector and in the sort of life coaching sector, which is probably even harder to market, and find your way. So I put this business together on the basis that they all hate marketing. They don't want to do marketing. They actually want to just do what it is they do. They want to coach people. They want to
Mhm.
change the world. So Johnny X Marketing appeared to be a brand that worked, and so it proved. I launched a Facebook group because I thought, well, all these people are hanging about on Facebook, and they kind of flocked in. And here we are in 2023 with nearly 7,000 coaches in the Facebook group,
Wow.
and a really vibrant community, if you like, of the people that I really want to help. So yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good at this point.
So basically, just through your own personal experience, you felt like I'm having to be in in the weeds of all of these things that I don't really feel fulfilled by, and there's got to
Yeah,
be other people who are in the weeds spending $30,000 on training programs to figure this all out when in reality
yeah,
they just want to do their thing. And that's what kind of led you to realize you could be the person who helps get them there.
yeah, exactly. Because I've been on both sides of the table. I've bought useless training programs.
Mhm.
I'd say that's probably not entirely fair on the providers. They're useless for me.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've understood is that just because somebody's doing something well and making a living out of it doesn't mean that they can show anybody else how to do it.
Right.
Skills and success stories are not always transferable, are they, to other people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuances in the type of training that really resonate with me, and thereby the sort of thing that I wanted to provide to my clients. I mean, for example, I don't do any distance learning programs. I think they suck. These courses, like, you buy them, you download them, you pay a couple of grand, they sit in a dusty corner of your hard drive, you never do anything with them. And
Yep.
if you do, you can't work it out. And if you try and get support from the provider, they're probably not going to be there to help you. So I decided to be the antithesis of that when I put the whole business together. I've only got one core program. It's called the Client Attraction Blueprint. And I actually show up and deliver that program live to each fresh cohort. And since 2018, when we launched it, we've had nearly 400 people through the program,
Wow.
four at a time. So I'm just about in October to launch CAB 100, which will be the 100th time I've delivered this program live and in person, to the people who've joined it.
I love
And
that that
yeah,
structure.
thanks. I mean, it seems to me to be, a critical mass for people. It's not too many, it's not too
Right.
few. So you
Yeah.
can, who joins it really bonds with the other three people. And, we've created quite a lot of enduring long-term friendships from the people who show up on this 12-week program. They spend a lot of time together, and they go through the same journey together. And it's kind of really nice to see that we can create that camaraderie, and that
Mhm.
friendship and accountability that comes from it. And it's a small group, high impact program, as we say. We want everybody to get the result they want from it, and you can only do that, I think, if you're really kind of generous with your time and willing to show up and actually deliver it live.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my bag, really. And I guess the kind of marketing that we receive, as consumers, that we don't like,
Mhm.
as the marketing that we hate, is that disingenuous stuff where they're all over you until you pay them, and then you never
Mhm.
see them again once you've actually paid them. Fob
Yeah.
you off to their team and their VAs and all this kind of thing. So I never want to do that to anyone. I don't think that's fair, and it doesn't get results. So my stuff gets results because I show up and I just guide people by the hand.
Yeah. Well, and the way you figured out, because I think a lot of the businesses who are looking to scale and are offering kind of this marketing and these programs and these promises, the way they're scaling is, well, they're just not showing up, right? It's you do it on yourself. It's the DIY course. Pay it. Here's all
Yeah,
these people who are getting great results. You should too. Pay this, do it.
yeah,
And what most people do is it sits in the corner of their hard drive, just like you said. And so you showing up and saying, okay, you got me. Like, let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's take advantage of this, do it
exactly.
together. You have to show up. There's an accountability because it's on the calendar. And now you're also immersed in this group of men and women who have learned and who have the same aspirations as you. So, don't leave.
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly. It just works, and it's not that it's fundamentally unscalable. I've got two people in training at the moment to be delivery coaches to actually deliver the CAB in
Nice.
person, but it will always be delivered in person by somebody who knows the program intimately. Both the people we're training are CAB alumni, so they've been through the program themselves.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the generous way to do it, isn't it? It's the right way to do it.
Yeah. I think people's time is, and what do they say? Time is money. And so when you're investing in yourself and you're investing in the beliefs of another professional, you, a coach, whatever it might be, getting that person or getting somebody who knows the teachings of that person on the other line is so valuable. So I applaud you for figuring out a way to do that. It's actually inspiring me in my own course on how I can, we do with our course. I knew that people would download it, they'd print
Yeah,
it, and it would sit and collect dust. And so I
yeah,
partner it with a required deep dive session.
right.
So, and you have to book that. You have to book it when you download it. So I'm going to be
Yeah,
there to say, hey, how did it go when you did the course? And if you didn't do it, you know,
yeah.
so I love that.
It's really interesting, isn't it? And that's the way to build a community as well. And build a following of people who regard you as an authority, because they're largely going to be getting results rather than just paying you and not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was called the client attraction. What did you say? Model or
Blueprint, the
blueprint, the
CAB.
client
Mm.
attraction blueprint. So tell me what can you tell me about the client attraction blueprint and what would somebody expect when they're going through that with you in that intimate group of four?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to build their business from the inside out. People who join it are generally newbie coaches. They're either kind of freshly qualified or they've got an idea for a business, but they haven't got one yet. Sometimes they'll have been doing it for a bit and not quite cracked the code of client attraction. So, they've had a few clients, but not enough to make a living. Equally, we take people on who are transitioning from employment into
Mm,
self-employment. So it's very much that critical first few months and first couple of years that we're working with, and trying to shortcut the learning process so they don't crash and burn and get demoralized and lose interest at day one. So we start with a deep dive into themselves. I don't know if you or your listeners have come across the Ikigai process. It's
the
a
icky. Oh yes, yes, yes.
yeah, it's a yeah, it's not a guy who happens to be icky.
I know.
Um,
That's what I
it's
hear when you said it, the ikigai.
I could say it with more of a Japanese accent, I
I know.
guess.
I like your version because it stumped me for a second.
I don't know. You say is it ikigai? I don't know.
Ikigai.
Um,
I will never forget it now because I will
no, no,
remember
no,
ikigai for the
exactly.
rest of my life.
But it's Japanese for life purpose, is not a reason for living. And
Mhm.
we get them in week one to do a deep dive. We give them an assignment to go away and do before week two. And we have a very structured document where we upload the assignment, they upload their work in the same box, if you like. So it really is kind of spoon fed and guided all the way. Well, once they've decided what it is they do, they make a statement. This is my ikigai is. My life. We can then take that forward and say, well, what kind of people would benefit from that? This is the next pillar, if you like, the ideal client avatar, that kind of mythical creature, which is often invisible and rarely found by online coaches. So, we make sure they've got a clear view of who it is that they want to attract. And we do a bit of work around that stage with, where those people hang out so they can go and hang out with them and tap them on the shoulder and say, come on, come and join my community. We then get very much into outreach. How are they going to appeal to these people? And we want them to get their ideal clients, believing that people like them work with them, with the coach.
Mhm.
And if you can get your ideal clients thinking, people like me work with Jonny, for example, then you've got you've got a step ahead of your competitors and of their other options. So we encourage them to build a community of their own on Facebook, largely in a Facebook group, We also get them using LinkedIn effectively, so they can
Mm.
drive people they've found on LinkedIn into the Facebook group. But
Yeah.
the idea of mastering one platform is so much better than trying to be on every social media platform.
Hmm.
And we discourage people from setting up these kind of link tree accounts. Where there's a smorgasbord of 6 or 7 different places where clients can find them. That's just pure ego, isn't it? Because no potential client's going to trawl through all your socials trying to find something of interest. They just want a single call to action, which says, join the group, go join the group. So that's what we kind of encourage and mandate with our clients on the program. Well, once they're actually in their socials, once their ideal clients are in their socials, next thing's to make them an offer. So we help our clients through the CAB to build an offer, build a program, build a signature program, as it's kind of
Hmm.
colloquially known. That'll oftentimes be a medium to high ticket program because we don't want our clients faffing around for nickels and dimes. It takes just as much effort and energy sometimes to sell a $27 ebook as it does to sell a $2,700 program.
Hmm.
And of course, you don't have to sell as many of the big ones to make a living as you do the little ones.
Hmm.
Once the program's live and launched in the world, we give them a daily process to actually, keep on winding up the machine and feeding the hungry animal, if you like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
putting new people into the top of the funnel organically from social media, engaging with them on a daily basis, and then encouraging conversations so they can get them into
Yeah.
an enrollment call and discuss the program with them. So it's a lot simpler than people make out. And I think the key elements are just what it is you do, who it's for, and then how you're going to deliver it. Just build the offer, build the program, and get out there and do it. Treat it like a proper business, and you'll be on your way.
Yeah. So what are you finding like trends in the type of people who work with Johnny Hates Marketing and go through the client attraction blueprint? Like what sort of commonality thread do you
Well, they're mostly women, Steph. So the vast majority of people will be female. Um, they're kind of middle aged. So
Johnny?
I'm going to say 45 plus, if you like. Um, and they have some kind of either a coaching qualification or some kind of an idea of what they're going to be doing, some skill set, if you like. It's very, very hard to create something out of nothing, but we can certainly help people who have a defined set of skills, a methodology, if you like. We can certainly help them to get it out into the world. So as long as they've got some plan, some kind of idea for what they want to do, they don't have to be, particularly experienced at it, but we want that. We want to be able to turn their passion into profits, basically, to
Yeah.
use another cliche. But yeah, generally speaking, they're going to be women from kind of 45 onwards. Our oldest clients, we have 2 clients who are 79,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
soon to be 80. So we don't set a retirement age. I don't think we should. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, you can keep on. As long as you can keep on, kind of.
Yeah. And you had said earlier in our conversation that a lot of the clients who are taking advantage of the CAB and getting the most out of it are coaches. Is that a whole niche that you've explored and see that the blueprint really moves the needle for? Or is it just kind of naturally who you've attracted? Tell me more about that.
It's pretty much who I've attracted, and it is a growing sector. More
Hmm.
people are deciding that they'd like to coach on something, and oftentimes, they just become accidental coaches from an experience they've had in their own lives, some challenge or trauma that they've overcome, and that they want to help other people with the same thing. So that brings in also a kind of market for therapists as well. So online therapists who work with people who call themselves consultants, business consultants, that kind of thing. We can help those too. And indeed, public speakers, but people just who need to create some kind of personal brand, some kind of community around what it is they do. So we're a little bit liberal in who we let in the group, but we've got a distinct hit list of people we don't allow in the group as well. So,
I love that.
yeah,
I think that's
I think
good.
it's important, isn't it? You have to
Mhm.
decide who you want to attract and who you want to repel. And both
Exactly.
sides of that coin are important, aren't
Yeah. So I see several copies of your book behind you, and I'm
they? Uh-huh.
curious, is the book an outline of the CAB? Is there more depth to tell me about your book and what would people be getting out of it?
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity to promote my books. I've actually done two. So I published one called Johnny Hates Marketing, one called Johnny Hates Selling.
Oh,
Um,
okay, now I see the
yeah,
differences.
that's the orange one. Um, they are a compilation of my daily brain tattoos, which I don't expect you to know anything about the daily brain tattoos, but basically since March the 24th, 2017, a glorious Tuesday, if I remember, I wrote a daily brain tattoo, which was a blog, and I'd emailed it to my list. People seem to like it and open it, so I've done one every single day since.
Oh,
And
wow.
in a couple of days from the day we're sitting here, um, DBT 2000 will be published, Daily Brain Tattoo. So I'll have done 2000 consecutive days of Daily Brain Tattoos. So a little message, it's probably 100 words, a 1 minute read, that kind of thing. I've learned that respecting your reader's time is probably a good idea.
Agreed.
So no long form content, but just a little nugget of marketing goodness squirted into the back of their inbox. Mix my metaphors there. You can't squirt a nugget, can you? But you get the, you get the idea.
I do.
And yeah, we've got around about 3,000 people on that list now. We're getting consistently more than 45% open rate. So
That's
it's
great.
a lovely little community by email as well. And
Yeah,
people buy stuff on email. So
there you go.
you should
Yep.
never lose the opportunity to build an email list if you can.
Agreed.
And
Very much so.
we're all over that. For instance, with the Facebook group entry questions, one of those is an email address.
Mhm.
So we get them on the list straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to answer your question about the books, each book has 99 daily brain tattoos, carefully selected and curated by me, as well as a bit of an intro and an outro. There's a bit more value in there. I don't think there's any point in reinventing the wheel. I mean, when you have a library of that much content,
Yeah. Agreed.
setting out to write something completely new to create a book doesn't make as much sense to me as collating the best of what we've already created
Right.
and putting it into a compilation.
Yeah. Take all that
'Cause
energy that you've placed for 2,000 days, take
yeah,
all that energy, pull the best in the same, right, whether it's selling related or marketing related, and then
yeah.
give that
I
real
mean, for
saturated.
full disclosure, I have to admit, I only publish 6 days a week.
Oh, okay.
So I don't send one out on Sunday. I mean, even God had a day off, right?
Good for you.
So you got
I was wondering if it was Monday through Friday, because when I say daily, ever since
It's Monday
becoming
to
entrepreneur.
Saturday. Monday 6 days a week. So
Good for you. I love that. That's you're inspiring me in a lot of things that I have aspirations and goals for. You're inspiring me on really great ways on how to get there. And so if you
well,
could be
I'm
doing
very
that,
much an advocate of James Clear. I mean, his amazing book Atomic Habits
such a
was
good book.
the best-selling non-fiction book in the world in 2021. Just
Yeah.
a colossal achievement, on his behalf. But the idea of an atomic habit is just something that you do once. If you like it, you do it again,
Yeah.
and then if it seems to be working, do it again, and then it just becomes a habit. And the daily brain tattoos are something I can't not do.
Yeah.
I couldn't contemplate not writing one
I've got to
tonight as
imagine
well.
it's slightly cathartic.
Really cathartic stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Because I do them at the end of the day. I allow myself a bit of quiet time after I've put my son to bed, read him his book. He's 7. He's Oscar, bless him.
Oh, wow.
So I just come back in here, spend 20 minutes just thinking, well, what happened today that could be interesting for the tribe, for the community? What
Yeah.
conversations have I had? What's sparked a thought?
Yeah.
And then just all you need is the germ of an idea. Sometimes you just need one word.
hmm
And then you can think, well, that'll make a good subject header
Yeah.
for an email. Because, I do believe if you're emailing, you've got to start with the subject header. because if people won't open your email, doesn't
Right.
matter how good the message is, they don't
For
get to
sure.
see it, right? So, object one is to actually get them opening the email. So, I'm quite creative with, 3 things you didn't know about this. And one of my best open rates was 3 reasons you'll always be a broke coach.
A
And people
broke
just,
couch?
coach, a broke
Oh, a
coach.
broke coach. I thought you said a
No,
broke couch.
a broke couch will be a different thing altogether.
I was going to
If
say,
I
I
was
cannot wait to hear where this is going.
in the furniture business, that would go down well, wouldn't it?
I mean, we all
Yeah.
know what couches are. So I was like, I love the analogy. I
So,
love where it's
so
going.
far, so far, so good. You have to say, wouldn't you? See what I mean?
Yes.
But the 3 years you always be a broke coach, and it's a kind of negative framing of the 3 pillars. If you're not doing these 3 things, then you're going to be broke.
Mhm.
So get a catchy subject header, get into the habit of writing that, and then it just flows from there. Really, and like you say, it's tremendously cathartic. I can sleep easy once I've written
Yeah,
it.
I love it. Well, I think it's fascinating what you're doing. I think you've hit the nail on the head on so many important points that businesses and entrepreneurs need to understand. And so I can only imagine from just what you've shared with me thus far, what I've learned from being in your world for a while now, that you would be an incredible asset to any of the listeners. So who exactly do you serve? And what is like the easiest, best way to kind of start in your world?
Yeah, great question. Well, my ideal client is an online coach or therapist. Um, they seem to be 45 plus. They seem to be mostly females, but I don't have a gender preference. It's just how it kind of pans out. And so long as they've got some core skill, something they can bring to the world. And second to that, a passion to actually change the world, to actually make a dent in the universe, whatever you want to call it. A
Yeah.
passion to help people, really. And I can bring the rest to the table. And the rest is, it's no use being good at what you do. You have to be good at marketing as well.
Mhm.
And I can bring that bit into it.
Fill in the gap
Um,
there.
the place to find me is simply this. It's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It's called Jonny Hates Marketing. J-O-N-N-E. There's no H. But if they just type Jonny Hates Marketing into a Facebook search, they'll find the group and join the blooming group because it's fun. We have a party there 24/7.
I'm looking, I pulled it up.
There's
Yeah,
lots of good stuff, lots of fun things going on, and lots of value. We do weekly lives, which are called Thank Flip It's Friday. We do those on Fridays at 4 p.m. in the UK, which is good for American time zones as well. In there, we flip a commonly held belief and do some training around it just to make it stick and make it more interesting. And there are daily wisdom posts and daily engagement questions that get people thinking as well about their lives and businesses. So it's a very vibrant group. We've got nearly 7,000 inspiring coaches and therapists in there. So come join the fun. Jonny Hates Marketing Facebook group.
nice. I'll make sure in the show notes that we have that Facebook Live. Well, we'll put your website and we'll also get that Facebook Live. I'll put a reminder for myself to make sure we get that Facebook group in there for you. And
Beautiful.
then
Thank you.
you had also shared that anyone who joins the group, there's a free gift. I'd love to make sure the
There
listeners know of that.
is. This is a really intriguing freebie. Everybody who's downloaded it and worked it goes, that's interesting. Yeah. It's called the Guaranteed Earnings Template, the GET. And it's a simple kind of mathematical grid. I don't make it sound too complicated. Arithmetic, not mathematics. You just stick a few numbers in and it pops out at the bottom how much you are guaranteed to earn each and every month if you're honest with the other figures.
Hmm.
So it's a really exciting little mind game, basically, to focus you on what you should be doing on a daily basis and how much will pop out the other end if you do that simple stuff.
Nice. I love it. Well, I
Right?
thank you so much for being on the show, sharing your passion and your purpose for who you serve and what you're doing in the world. I applaud it. I think it's beautiful and great. And I love the approach, right? Jonny Hates Marketing. We didn't even touch on how much of a unique name you have gone with, but I really am excited to join your group, immerse myself in your world a little bit more, and
That's
talk more,
beautiful.
I'm
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you, Steph, and just to throw it back at you, loving your brand as well. Everything you're doing is lovely and wonderful, and I can completely understand what you're doing just from looking in from the outside. So thanks for having me here. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. All right, guys, until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Passion on Purpose podcast. I truly hope you got a lot of value out of this episode. So if you did, please rate, review, and share. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, whether a leader or an expert, please go to getvim.com/podcast and you will find our application page, or reach out to me directly and I can give you more information.